Yeah. Babanam kevalam, Babanam kevalam, Babanam kevalam, Babanam kevalam, Babanamo kevalam, Babanamo kevalam, Babanamo kevalam, Babanamo kevalam, Babanam kevalam, Babanamo kevalam, Babanamo kevalam, Babanam. And if you're interested, I can share with you the link to the playlist of this. It's called meditate. How to say Prachar School of North America. Prachar means basically the spreading or transmission of the spiritual knowledge and values. All right, Svasti, namaskar. Please go ahead.
Namaskar. So I'm gonna start. The chapter 5 is called Taking Responsibility for Our Feelings. And here the author is saying about the ways to accept negative messages and recognize our feelings. He also mentioned that others can be stimulus of our feelings, but never cause, means those feelings were already inside us. And there are 4 options how to receive negative messages and actions. The first is take it personally and feel guilt and blame ourselves. It also has a negative effect on our self-esteem. For example, if someone tells you you are the most self-centered person I ever met, the reaction here can be, oh, I should have been more sensitive. The second is blame others. So for this phrase, you are the most self-centered person I ever met, the reaction can be here, you have no right to say that. I am always considering your needs. You are the one who is really self-centered. And the third is sense our own feelings and needs. When we receive a negative message, we look inside with awareness in order to understand our feelings and needs. And the reaction here can be, when I hear you say that I am the most self-centered person you ever met, I feel hurt because I need some recognition of my efforts to be considerate of your preferences. By observing our feelings consciously, we understand that we have a need for our effort to be recognized. And the fourth option is to sense other feelings and needs. And the fourth way for receiving a negative message is to shine the light of consciousness on the other person's feeling and needs. And reaction here can be, are you feeling hurt because you need more consideration for your preferences? We should be aware of our own needs, desires, expectations, values, or thoughts, and be responsible for our feelings. For example, you disappointed me by not coming over last evening. And the speaker B, the answer of speaker B is, the second option is, I was disappointed when you didn't come over because I wanted to talk over some things that were bothering me. So yes, in the first phrase, the speaker is blaming another person that you disappointed me. And the second option, speaker is observing his feelings. He was disappointed, and he also talks about his needs, that he wanted to talk over some things. So it is crucial, in order to respond compassionately, we need to connect our feelings to our own needs. And When we talk about our own feelings without mentioning our needs, it also masks accountability for our own feelings. Uh, for example, uh, the it really infuriates me when spelling mistakes appear in our public brochures. But if we talk with connected with needs, it could be I feel really infuriated when spelling mistakes like that appear in our public brochures because I want our company to project a professional image. So here the speaker is talk about her or his needs as well. It is also important uh, not to give responsibility for our feelings to others. For example, it hurts mommy and daddy when you get poor grades at school. And here the child is the cause of parents' feelings of joy or sorrow, which cause that child will create behavior to avoid guilt and will not act from his heart in the future. And we should distinguish between giving from the heart and being motivated by guilt. And judgment, criticism, and interpretations of others are all alienated expressions of our needs. And when we talk in this way, our companion most likely will start to defend himself. If we express our needs, we have a better chance of getting them met. When people analyzing and blaming one another, the conversation will lead to be the worst and worst. And from the moment people begin to talk about what they need rather what's wrong with one another, the conflict could solve in a greater way. And the next part of the chapter it's called the pain of expressing our needs versus the pain of not expressing our needs. And here author talks about women who more often have difficulties to talk about their needs and more sensitive to criticism, because over the years the women have had difficulties and they were suppressed their emotions and feelings. For example, I have not had a moment to myself all day. I ironed all the shirts, did the whole week's laundry, took the dog to the vet, and etc. And here, request most likely will not be needed with self-defense from another side of conversation, and another person will not understand her needs, which can develop the conflict. And another part is it's called From Emotional Slavery to Emotional Liberation. And here is three stages of expressing development towards a state of emotional liberation. The first is emotional slavery. We believe that we are responsible for others people's feelings. We try to keep others happy, which appear that we see our closest people as a burden. We see ourselves responsible for other feelings. And the second stage is obnoxious stage. When we become aware that we give too much energy for trying to make others happy. And we could say in such way, that's your problem, I'm not responsible for your feelings. And the second stage is called emotional liberation. We take responsibility for our intentions and actions. We become aware and acknowledgement of the needs behind our feelings. So again, here is 4 options how to receive a negative message. It's blame ourselves, blame others, sense our own feelings and needs, and 4th is sense the feelings and needs hidden in the other's person negative message. And here also there are some exercises. One moment. Exercises. about how to get a response. One moment. Here. For oh, so here we need to distinguish between when person is talking about her needs or blaming others. The first is you irritate me when you leave company documents on the conference room floor. So do you think it's blaming others or when person is talking about her needs or his needs? Is it in agreement or no? You irritate me when you leave company documents on the conference room floor.
Okay, so do we have to say if it's a judgment or if it's a what or what?
So is was it saying with like you blame others or was it in agreement so you observe your own feelings and needs inside?
Okay, so it's whether it's an observation or it's a blaming. Okay.
Yes.
If everybody is shy, you can select a person, Svasti.
Maybe Tim or
Honestly, Svasti, I have a hard time hearing you. It's I don't know if you're not close to your mic, so it's very
sorry.
hard to hear you.
So I'm gonna read again. So you irritate me when you leave company documents on the conference room floor.
And what is the question again?
So is it so when you talk, is it you blame other person or you observe your own feelings and needs?
That's a tough one because I think it can almost be both. I mean, you're sort of yeah, let's almost say both. It feels like both. Like you could in a way you're blaming somebody else for how you feel, but at the same time you're kind of just stating how you feel. I don't know.
Yeah, so here it's not in agreement because you blame other person and you don't talk about your feelings and needs. So this is not in agreement. Okay, so the next one, I feel angry when you say that because I'm wanting respect and I hear your words as an insult. So do you think is it in agreement? Person here observing his needs and feelings.
Are you still asking me, or did you ask someone else?
No.
Oh,
Maybe I
okay.
can ask Marina.
I think it's an observation of feelings and needs.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so the third is I feel frustrated when you come late. Maybe Japesh.
Yeah, he's acknowledging his feelings, but not the needs. So
Yes.
it almost becomes like a blame.
This is not completed, right? Okay, so the fourth is I'm sad that you won't be coming for dinner because I was hoping we could spend the evening together. Maybe Nirma.
So I was hoping that. Can you repeat it again? I was hoping that we would come. Okay.
I'm sad that you won't be coming for dinner because I was hoping we could spend the evening together.
Okay, very good. So it's acknowledging feelings. It's acknowledging
yes, feelings
feelings.
and needs. Yes.
Feelings and needs.
This
Good,
is,
good.
And the sixth is, and another is, I'm discouraged because I would not have liked to have progress further in my work by now. I'm discouraged because I would have liked to have progress further in my work by now. So is it says in agreement in observing your feelings and needs? Maybe Yelena?
Yeah, I think it's
No, it does contain observation of feelings and needs.
Yes, yes, that's true. Okay, the fifth is I feel disappointed because you said you would do it and you did not. Maybe Aditya? Maybe he's not there. Maybe Jenny? Oh.
What
Okay.
do we have? We have option of observation or what's second option?
So the first option is we have observation on our feelings and needs. And the first option when you blame another person or you put responsibilities to another person rather than take it your
Okay,
own.
so observation or blaming. And can you repeat, please, the situation?
Mhm. I feel disappointed because you said you would do it and you did not.
Blaming, I would say for sure.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So I am discouraged because I would have liked to have progress further in my work by now. Aditya? I am discouraged because I would have liked to have progress further in my work by now.
Aditya, we can't hear you. Can you hear us or no?
Is it blaming or observation?
Okay, I don't know. We don't have a sound from him, so. Aditya, we can't hear you. We
Someone
can just hear some buzzing sound. We don't hear your voice. All right. Can you please ask somebody else? Aditya, I don't know. You have a problem with your mic.
Microphone problem. Maybe Marina again? Marina, do you know?
Marina, can you hear or you have
Can you
problems
hear?
with your mic? What's going on? So people have problems with their equipment suddenly. It's late Thursday evening. Equipment starts to doze off. It's a
I'm gonna read
conspiracy.
again. Or...
No, I think she just get frozen. You can see by video.
Yeah. Maybe
Marina,
Japesh? Or...
Yeah, Svasti, can you repeat it, please?
Yes. So I am discouraged because I would have liked to have progress further in my work by now.
Yeah, taking responsibility because it's acknowledging both his feelings and the needs.
Right. The feeling is discouraged and the need is to have progress. And the next is little things people say sometimes hurt me. Little things people say sometimes hurt me. Maybe Nirmal?
so
Observation or blaming?
it's not blaming, but it's not like exactly stating the feelings, right?
Yeah, it's not in agreement. It's the person is not responsible for his feeling here.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not so
so
bad.
the next is I feel happy that you received that award. I feel happy that you received that award. Maybe Yelena?
I think it does express some feelings. I feel glad.
Yes. And the last is I am grateful that you offered me a ride because I was needing to get home before my children arrive. Maybe Jenny?
Expression of emotion
Expression of feeling
an observation. You realize what's you expressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's it. I finished, you know.
Hmm?
Yes, that was correct. Right.
Thank you.
All right. So that's it, Nirmal. I think.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Swasti, for leading this activity. This is great, very good. Good exercise, good practice. All right, so let me present how do you say, the end. Let me finish the presentation that we started 2 classes ago now. So far, does anyone have any comments about this topic, or questions to Swasti? Go ahead. Interrogate her. You guys are too nice. Okay.
Well, I mean, I did have a question sometimes, like when, because I know we do have feelings sometimes and we express needs, but how can we determine when certain feelings are valid? You know, because I do reflect on that sometimes. I experience certain feelings, but I do reflect. It's like, am I justified in my feeling? I don't know. It seems like a very vague kind of question, but it is something that I dwell upon sometimes, because I know depending on my mood or even situation, sometimes certain events or situations will affect me differently. So it's almost like when, you know, how can you determine when certain feelings are requiring something from someone, or does it require something within me to adjust? Yeah, so I feel like it's too vague of a question.
Thank you for your question, and I think it depends on situation, of course, but also the author mentioned in the beginning of the chapter that the others, it can be the stimulus, not the cause of our feelings. Means this feeling is already inside, and when you interact with someone, then this feeling arises, and probably we need to ask ourselves, why do we feel in this way? But again, it depends on situation, because sometimes we need to give some other reaction. And I don't know if I answer your question, but means probably we need to go deeper and ask why I feel this way, because probably something is behind why some unfulfilled desire or emptiness. Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if if I answered it.
Yeah, because
I think
one thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nirmal.
I was just gonna say, Svasti, you're interestingly, you point to the fact Jenny applauds. That's good. You're asking good questions like, why do I feel this emotion? So basically, you ask yourself big open-ended questions. You go to the source. So basically, hence, like, repetition of the first lesson's mantra is very important, because we basically always go to the source. Another way is to ask ourselves, like, why do we feel a certain way? It's like basically self-reflection. Yeah, you were gonna say, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, just related to the whole meditation practice. I've even noticed that has helped provide clarity on a lot of situations, and even situations that had a very strong negative emotional charge. It's almost like it's sort of decreased significantly. So yeah, I've personally noticed that a lot of the times, you know, it's hard to expect things from people, but then just with the meditation practice, it sort of helps me understand and become less affected negatively and even more empathetic, I think compassionate too. So yeah, I wonder if the book digs deeper into that, but I'm glad that we all have a meditation practice, and I'm sure it does sort of assist in how we approach a lot of these situations.
Very good. Okay, so because we have 19 more minutes, I'll take over unapologetically and we'll take us to the end of the night. Slideshow. So you remember last time we talked about empathy, and today we're continuing with discussion on empathy. Yeah, so how to develop empathy. Marina, can you read it, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
How to develop empathy. To broaden our emotional scope, learn what emotions are there. Recognize emotions in yourself and others. Learn to express emotions and recognize them. Learn to regulate and help transform emotional states of people from negative to positive.
Okay, very good. So just to keep ourselves awake in the chat, please put in one word the emotion that you're feeling right now. Let's take 1 minute to do this. Don't think, don't judge, just put it out there. Okay, curiosity, it's good. It's an emotion, nice. Alright, don't overthink, just put whatever comes to your mind. It's a good idea to good. It's a good idea to read this book because he gives a good list of emotions. So it's a good idea to understand a variety of emotions. And because we are complex beings, basically we feel similar, how to say, different emotions all at the same time. Okay, Aditya, Ekamati, Japesh, Marina, guys, come on, don't think too much. One dada told me that thinking too much is not good. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good.
Trying to type, but it's not working. But I am feeling confused with my own emotions right now.
Good.
Trying to just understand what
No,
emotion am I really feeling. So yeah, confusion.
Okay, confusion, fine. Okay, people are leaving, so I shouldn't be doing it too interactively. Okay, good. It's just a small exercise. Keep asking yourself this question and keep reading for what emotions are available. It's good. All right, so elements of empathy. To see the world through the lens of another person. What would I do if I was him or her? Okay, recognize the feeling behind. Allow the person to be the way they are unconditionally, non-judgmentally. And just like, it's very difficult to do, right? Especially when you're stressed and confused and you are not sure. But I mean, that's the ideal. Express understanding of another person with gestures, intonation, actions, and words. Practice observing and acknowledging needs, emotions, feelings, gesture, and body language of another person. So I think I would do this exercise sometime with you. It's called the mirror. So if you attend retreats, we will do this activity. It's good to developing empathy, but pretty much just non-judgmental observation to try to understand what's the other person feeling. Okay. Japesh, this one, please.
What can help to express empathy? You feel this because you need this. Is it so? You seem to be angry at me because you need this. Is it so? You react to this like that because you seem scared. Is it so?
So basically probing, trying to guess. So for example, okay, Japesh, try to guess Swasti's emotion.
Just with
Just
her
just ask her.
facial expressions, amused.
Oh, ask her, like you, just two of you. Forget about us.
Oh, nice. Um, so just ask her a question to try to determine her emotions
Yep,
directly or indirectly.
up to you.
Swasti, how are you feeling right now? Swasti, how do you feel right now?
I feel joyful, happy.
Great, great. So asking the question is the best way because then you'll get direct answer. Okay, now Swasti, try to ask Marina. Use some different wording. Don't be robots. Be spontaneous. Try to use whatever structure you want comes to your mind.
Okay. Um, so Marina, what you're up to? Um, how are you doing?
I feel energetic.
Sorry, can you repeat?
I feel energetic.
Okay, good. So you see, it's good. You get direct information. It's good. Now the problem will be when we'll be asking people like who are not on the screen, right? Because you can't get there, you can't read them. They're like good poker players. I wouldn't be surprised if Aditya is really good in poker. All right, let's continue. Swasti, can you read this one, please?
What obstacles to showing empathy are there? A habit to give advice, give support words, and self-explaining.
Okay, so people from the post-Soviet countries, we love to, not only us, but we love to give advice, especially when people don't ask for it. Not a good habit. Why? Because it's irritating. Secondly, unless you're an expert, your advice, well, it's not an expertise. And the most importantly thing, if the person doesn't want it, even if you give them the best advice ever, they will not implement it because they just don't want to. And sometimes we just want to be listened to. We don't want, we don't want information. We want love, and that's like 99% of the time. Hence, the most important thing is to sing the mantra. Like because it's all about that. Not always. I mean, of course, presence is important, but yeah, just being mindful of that. Habit to give support words. Well, what do you make about this one? Sometimes we just want to kind of, to say, okay, you'll be fine, you're all right, you can do it. Like they call it toxic positivity in a way sometimes. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes that's not what the person needs. Self-explaining. I am very bad at this. I like to explain myself a lot. Yeah, do you have any problems seeing why self-explaining is an obstacle to showing empathy?
Well, I mean, with giving support words, that one seems a little difficult to understand. But I'm sort of seeing what you're saying because when we sort of just it's almost like dismissive of how they're actually feeling, like it's not.
Okay, let's role play. Can you imagine that how you feel in Japesh?
Like
Let's just,
truly, or I'm just making something up.
well, make something out. Well, let's try it truly.
Um, Inspired to learn.
Okay, now let's try the something negative. Just how you feeling?
Okay. So let's say I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling upset about what happened at work with an
Don't
employee.
wo- so the giving support word would be, okay, Japesh, don't worry, it's fine. It happens to the best of us. You'll be okay. It's okay. You know, you're strong. You can do it. I believe in you. You can do it. You're competent. It's gonna be fine. You'll do just great.
Hmm. Hmm.
How do you feel about this feedback?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, it feels like it's almost like dismissive of actually what I'm actually feeling, and not really like you don't really understand what I'm going through. Yeah, so it doesn't make me feel better. It's almost I could see myself feeling annoyed if I got that type of response and I was trying to share a difficult situation that occurred.
And I mean, it's quite generic, right? Even when I was saying it, it was like I was sounding to myself as a cliche.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's why empathy is a way to kind of establish connection. So listening is a really key thing. Why don't we emphasize with others? Jenny, can you read this one, please?
Just a moment. When/why don't we empathize with other? We need empathy ourselves. Active listening requires resources. Solution: when we take full responsibility for our own feelings and let go of responsibility for the feelings of others, then we can help others meet their needs out of compassion/empathy and not out of duty, fear, guilt, or shame.
Well, that's some powerful stuff.
Right.
So we basically just take responsibility of our own feelings. So there's this concept of emotional banking. Have you heard about it? Stephen Covey talks about it in The Habits of Successful. Whatever, I forget. It's a
Nope.
famous book. Emotional bank means that we all have our own limits emotionally. So when we run out of emotional strength, you could say, we cannot empathize with ourselves with others because we ourselves need to empathize with us. We need love, basically. You know, we run out of energy. There is limit to that. So the solution is to basically meditate, to go inside, to get this power from ourselves, to give love to ourselves. So basically, yeah, replenish ourselves from within. This is the true self-love in the spiritual sense, right?
Yeah, I'm slow thinking on the solutions, and it's like advice of I have to reread and think and rethink, reread and rethink.
All right. Yeah. So
It's
self-empathy.
sorry, it's a broad topic. It's very interesting one.
It's a broad topic, it's an interesting one, yes, but when we go to details and when you give specific cases, it starts to make sense.
Right. Thank you.
So if you want to get more specific, you can ask yourself those questions, like what how do I empathize with myself? That's what we did in the previous module, but Jenny, you weren't here. So, care. How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of others? If you reflect on that, it will become clear for you how that you use it in life. Okay, Marina, can you read this one, please?
Self-empathy. What are the 4 steps towards self-empathy? 1. What unmet need determines my attitude towards myself? Figure out our emotional state and thoughts in that state. 2. Emphasize with our own needs and pains. 3. We realize the discrepancy between our actions, for which we blame ourselves, and our deeper values and needs. We realize that we need to do about it. or we find a way to meet these needs.
So again, self-reflection doesn't have to be this one question like, okay, what do I really need right now? What do I really want? Kind of understand it. Yeah. So usually meditation always helps to kind of get in touch with our needs, but it's not always the need for sometimes we're hungry, sometimes we just want to be recognized, sometimes we need love, sometimes we need that stuff. Usually in spiritual practice, when we do meditation, we emotionally we kind of replenish most of our needs. At least we feel like this. But we're complex human beings, we want different things, and we can't just kind of lose all of those needs and desires, even dissolve them in our meditation. So we have to be realistic and truthful with ourselves. Okay, Japesh, can you read this one, please?
Emotional intellect. What is it? What does it give us? Emotional intellect equals empathy plus self-empathy. Emotional intellect determines the quality of life. Developing emotional intellect gives deeper relationships, attentiveness towards others, successful, effective interactions with others, improved networks, connections, objective evaluation of situations, state of being and needs, wants of others, lack of irritating surrounding, letting go of inner complexes.
So the concept of emotional intellect, as far as I understand, was created by Daniel Goleman. So also my one professor from New Humanist College, Dr. Kathleen Kesson, she recommended me this book. It's called Altered Traits. And basically it's a study on how meditation, well, changes our mind, brain, and body, our behavior, actually. I haven't gone through it all yet, but it's interesting. And apparently in the previous books, he came up with this concept of emotional intellect. Svasti, can you read this one, please?
Errors, mistakes. What is a mistake? How to forgive yourself for them? What does it give to you? Forgiveness. Error is a tool of development. It is an opportunity to learn, explore, and express benevolence.
So it's a special relationship to mistakes. You know, how many of you like games or video games? Never liked them? You never played?
No, I do. I used to play them a lot, not too much now, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed video games.
What kind of games did you like? Do you remember one or two?
Yeah, for sure. I used to, well, I mean, it's the StarCraft, Counter-Strike, first-person shooters, even, yeah, StarCraft, Warcraft, that kind of stuff.
So I'm pretty sure in shooters, I mean, I also like shooters. So you die a lot, right? So some research has found that you actually die 80% when you play video games, and you enjoy it. So the idea is you fail, but you fail joyfully. So the same concept is important in theater. Professional actors, well, they fail a lot. They get rejected. They don't get the part. And I mean, every person in real life, we fail a lot, but we don't enjoy that too much because we treat life seriously, more seriously than we treat a game. So this concept is that basically, without making a mistake, you can't develop competence. For example, if you lose in a shooter, well, then you understand you have to be better, you have to be faster, you have to know how to use certain weapons better, or you have to set targets. Basically, you develop different kind of tactics. Say in meditation, you know, if you feel okay, like in this meditation wasn't particularly well, it wasn't great. It didn't feel like you made a breakthrough, right? You didn't make a breakthrough. You didn't kind of your concentration wasn't so good. But if you treat it as just okay, it's just an attempt. It's a try. It's the best try. I made my best effort. I did my best sadhana today. That's the best effort I could do. So this is an attitude, and now you kind of learn from this experience, right? You don't devalue it, but say, okay, this is what it is. What it is. Bhavanam kevalam, you know. But you kind of build on it. So the same thing with this. I think it's a very healthy attitude to see mistakes as not something final, to see life as ever, we just make choices, but until we are dead, we are always making choices. It's never over until it's really over, you know? The game is never over. Even if you believe in the concept of karma and samskara, like, you know, we will go on playing until we merge with the Supreme, of course. Jenny, can you read? Oh no, Svasti, can you read this one?
How to forgive yourself for making an error. Recall an event and figure out your need.
It's a typo.
What need did I try to meet? Acknowledge that this action was an attempt to improve your own life and quench your need. Express empathy to the part of you which feels sorrow for this action. Accept and forgive it. Express empathy to the part of you which did an action. Try to understand it.
Let's do this exercise. This is going to be the closing one for today because we're over time again, and I'm sorry for this. Let's try to do it. So try to remember the time. You don't have to say it, okay? Don't say it. But the key thing is, ask yourself, well, what if something troubles you? If there's something that really truly worries you, maybe the relationship with someone, maybe with yourself, maybe you did something, let's try to, well, close your eyes, or just kind of, you don't have to, but you may. Recall this event that troubles you, or this relationship, or this something, the situation that still troubles you, and ask yourself, what need or what want did you try to meet in this situation? What did you really want in this situation, from yourself or from that person? Kind of acknowledge that you did this action as an attempt to improve your life. You tried to achieve something. Be honest with yourself. What did you want or need in the situation? Try to give this empathy or understanding or recognition to this part of you which feels pain, maybe sorrow, maybe sadness, or confusion. Try to accept it and forgive it. And if it takes more time, try to be with this. Try to just be, don't judge, try to be with this person or experience or whatever. So when you recognize your mistakes, you become free from anger towards yourself. You become more cheerful, light, accepting, and start to hear yourself better. Does anyone want to share any? How did this exercise go for you? Does anyone want to share? And we will close.
Not necessarily the details, but the experience. I have done similar types of reflections before, and I do notice that without being conscious about it, you might be a little self-blaming, a little negative towards yourself. But yeah, and I think it's showing that the empathy that we give to others, the understanding, it's not given to yourself. And I think that can create a lot of issues, that might become ingrained in the subconscious and reveal itself in a lot of different aspects of your life. So yeah, I think it's really, really important to do exactly what you just said, Nirmal, because I think a lot of situations in our lives, they have affected us deeply, and we might not even be aware of how we have responded to ourselves. Even with the spiritual practice, trying to be very kind, understanding to others, but we need to give that to ourselves too.
And that's why it's so important, thank you for saying it, to do it twice a day, because this creates a habit of giving empathy to yourself. We have to train ourselves to that, to do that.
Yeah, it's very healing.
That's the purpose. Okay, anybody else before we close? Any final remarks? So in the next meeting, we will have Marina will present chapter 6, and yeah, a small announcement I want to make. So we are kind of approaching the end of this. Definitely the end of the presentation. We almost. Oh, no. Let's finish today because there are 2 more slides. I just want to finish it, if you don't mind. Talking about difficult emotions. Marina, can you read this one?
Anger. What is it? Anger is a signal that our needs are not being met. The energy is spent on maintaining anger instead of fulfilling it. What causes anger? Unmet needs are not the other person's behavior. Solution. Change. I'm angry because they, to I'm angry because I need, I want. What is the cause of violence? Violence is caused by the perception that other people are the cause of our suffering and are worthy of punishment. Blaming and punishing others is generally not a healthy way to manage anger.
Yeah, has anyone experienced that with anger? So, well, sometimes it is because of the other person, but then no, but then basically because we didn't take the full responsibility. But sometimes the situation is such that it just triggers our own unmet need or insecurity, which happens often. But yeah. So again, just being honest, why am I feeling angry? What is the need or want that is not met?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've come across that too. Even within certain spiritual types of practices, because people trigger us, but if we're not like a loaded weapon, nothing will go off, type of thing. So how I've tried to approach situations is when I do feel angry or I feel triggered, maybe it's something within me that needs to be addressed. Even patience. I'm not saying that how people act is justified. Not saying that it doesn't require action on my part, but is the anger that I'm feeling good in any way? Could it ever? I know it reveals something, but is it possible to reach a state where we don't feel angry anymore?
That's a good question.
Even those that have gone deep within the whole spiritual practice.
Well, it's a good question. It would be good to ask people who have spent more time doing this. I mean, Dada, he's busy. I would ask him.
Yeah, because
Dada?
Oh yeah, you have a dad in the next room. Very convenient.
Let me ask. You can ask each other, but yeah, you can have this conversation. I'll ask Dada. I'm not sure if he'll join. Maybe he's busy.
I think uh, I might be wrong, but I got feeling like anger is kind of a habit emotion. if you develop it over and over again to react specifically that way, you it's a habit. It's a bad habit, and if you go to mindfulness and catch yourself when you feel it that way, you can start working on it. Because I personally, uh, on on uh, on another side of situation, I usually the person who feel guilty and from somebody anger. So I'm not get used to it feel anger, but I get used to it that someone feel anger about me, and I am very successively feel guilty about everything on the universe of all peoples and things like that. So I think it's depends on what's emotion you develop over the years and sometimes even decades of your life, and that's how you get used to it. Just your mind mutually jump into specifically anger or specifically guilty. Like I give another example, just because you train yourself day after day, situation after situation, person after person, regardless is it at work or at family, anywhere, you just get used to it, feel guilty on any, that's your first reaction, or feel angry, that's your first reaction. So the answer is yes, it's meditation where you are mindfulness, and when you are catch yourself how you um, uh, get used to it and work on it when you can.
Yeah, work on it when you can. So Dada's reply is that, anger is one of the enemies of the mind. So it's impossible to kill it or destroy it. So it's part of our life, and it will be with us throughout our life. I guess it will be possible to control it or to master it, like Jenny is saying, but life will always find a way to get us off balance. All right, the final one. Aditya, are you trying to say something? We're hearing some crazy sounds. I don't know. Okay. What are the 4 steps to express anger non-violently? Just pause and recognize it. Recognize opinions and evaluations. Differentiate what is a fact and what is a judgment. And recognize your need and verbalize your anger through the I speak. So voice your feelings, needs, and request. Make a request. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I think that's everything. Okay, so this is the thing, guys. So who can take the next? So Marina will take the next presentation. How do you say topic? I think we don't have to go through all of those chapters, or rather, I would like us to start to get 2 chapters at the same time, because it's taking too much time. I don't think we need to spend that much time on every particular chapter. So yeah, so connecting compassionately with ourselves. All right, let me just ask Japesh, can you do chapter 9 and 10? Marina, can you do 5 and 6? And Ekamati, can you do... Oh, she's not here. Aditya, I don't know if he can present or not. So 7... No, I think... We just talked about it, so no need to present on those ones. Okay, Marina, so you are doing the next chapter, which is 6, right?
Yeah.
Or 6, right? So can you do 6 and 7?
Yes.
So 8 and 9 we kind of practiced today, so no need to do that. Japesh, can... Oh, Dada is talking to me. Wait a second. So we have interactive. All right, he's talking to some other great man. Anyways, what is going on? I lost my train of thought. Okay, Aditya, do you think you'll fix your mic or not? Because I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you this. So, Svasti, can you do 10 and 11?
Yes. And which week it's gonna be? Yeah,
It's a good
after 2
question.
weeks, that's right.
So, okay, let me just kind of stop sharing this for now.